Federal correctional officers are staging pickets today outside all of the country's 52 federal penitentiaries. They're upset over a number of things, but they're protesting today because it marks 3 years since their last contract expired. Let's learn more about what's going on today. In Kingston, Ontario, we reach Jason Godin, the National Vice President of the Union of Canadian Correctional Officers. Mr. Godin, thanks for being our guest today.
My pleasure.
What's the plan today?
Well, it's just an information picket, geared towards our members and certainly reminding the federal government it's time to sit down and get serious about our collective bargaining process, especially given the fact that our job continues, our workplace continues to deteriorate as a result of many policies and changes made by this government.
Okay, so I want to come back to that point in just a second, but when you say it's an information picket, just how much of a disruption will it have in terms of how the facilities operate today?
Well, there won't be any disruption to the facilities themselves. It'll be an information flyer going out to inform the members and certainly the public and about the fact that our contract expired 3 years ago. So we don't anticipate any disruptions in terms of the institutions. We certainly our number one goal is obviously the public safety, and we'll continue to maintain that, but we're trying to get our message out that it is time to get serious at the bargaining table. Certainly down the road we'll plan more actions.
Okay, there will be more actions like this or stepped up?
Well, we may step it up. It all depends. We're actually heading into a bargaining session next week, so we're hopeful that the government hears this today. They hear that we're serious about our collective agreement, and it's time to get serious again about the negotiating. So I guess we'll have to gauge the conversations that we engage in next week with the government.
All right. So as you head into those discussions with government, you mentioned deteriorating conditions. What are your members' main concerns?
Well, obviously, there's a number of issues on the table. One of them is the monetary issue, and in 2006, with the exact same government, we were comparable counterparts with the RCMP at the federal level. That's a big piece. Sick time is obviously a concern for correctional officers. On any given day, correctional officers suffer a lot of work-related injuries. Violent incidents are up in our federal institutions, up over 30%, and the double bunking numbers are climbing higher than we've ever seen them before. So again, correctional officers, want to be compensated obviously for the dangerous job that we perform, and obviously the public service we provide to Canadians. And right now, many correctional officers are feeling very disrespected by the fact that this government continues to make our conditions tougher. In fact, they call it tougher on crime, but essentially it's tougher on correctional officers. And at the end of the day, it's time to sit down, get serious, and talk about the real issues on the table.
So basically, increased pay for increased risk and danger is what you're seeking.
Yeah, and our demands are very much responsible to the public. All we're seeking is exactly where we were before with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and this exact government was a government that agreed that yes, that is adequate compensation for correctional officers, and we just don't understand why they fail. Why do they fail to recognize that now? When they agreed to recognize that in 2006. So we're a bit dumbfounded by how they're sitting at the table with us right now.
As we talk, we have a picture to show you. We found it online. It's something that you erected. It's a billboard, and you can see it. It shows Tony Clement, who's the president of the Treasury Board, when he indicated that correctional officers have his full support, and you obviously wrote really 3 years. The last line there, just underneath our graphic, is 3 years without a collective agreement. So this has just gone up now. This is new?
It's just gone up in the last couple of weeks, and it's a clear message to the Treasury Board president, who, by the way, has 2 correctional institutions in his riding. And he often says, I fully support the job that you guys do and the dangerous work you perform. And unfortunately, as the Treasury Board president, he really hasn't moved in a direction that would see a satisfactory settlement for correctional officers and respect the work that we're doing. Correctional officers go in every day and risk their lives, and we're proud of the work that we do, and we're proud of the contribution we make to public safety. But for whatever reason, we feel that the Treasury Board minister doesn't recognize that, although they did in 2006.
So, as you say, you're heading into another round of discussions next week. You've been 3 years without an agreement. Are you optimistic the outcome will be different this time?
Well, we sure hope so. You know, we're very reasonable with our demands. You know, we're asking the government to sit down. We feel that the best way for us to settle a dispute is through the negotiation process. Face-to-face discussions are always the best option. So we're hopeful next week that we can sit down and get a deal done, and correctional officers, you know, hopefully a boost to their morale to say, look, the Canadian government is behind its frontline men and women, and that's our hope next week. So we'll try to remain a little bit optimistic, and at the same time, we'll have to gauge how the discussions land on the table at the end of next week.
We'll stay in touch, Mr. Godin. Thank you very much for today's discussion.
Thank you very much.